Hi. I just want to talk to you a little bit about spiritual awakening and spiritual journey. This might help some people who are maybe starting to ascend, or maybe have been starting to ascend and then have been like frightened because they're starting to like feel their emotions, and they're starting to like the path, maybe the spiritual path, at its easy bit at the start, which is very much like based around like crystals and tarot cards and like just all the nicey stuff. But as you sort of start to ascend spiritually, you start to being able to like feel your emotions, things that you've not been able to feel before, or things that you've just kind of ran away from. In this world, we're very much programmed to run away from our feelings. I'm not judging, because this is something that I used to do as well, and something that I still do sometimes. But as you sort of run from your emotions, you are like holding that trauma within your body, which can eventually lead to illness, pain, and other things. Obviously, like spiritually awakening and starting to feel your emotions and starting to like live a more spiritual life once you've sort of passed that sort of first stage of awakening, where it's just very much about the crystals and it's just very much about feeling good. You can start doing the inner work, and then you can start to like go within and start to feel your emotions. Obviously it's a difficult place to go. I've been there. My spiritual work for a long time was very much surface level, but then as I started to ascend on my spiritual path, I knew that I could not hold on to these emotions any longer, and I wanted to find a way to transmute them. Obviously, we are very good at not accepting our emotions and just doing something else. Sometimes when you just sit in the house, you just think, I'm starting to like think of things, and you're starting to like feel your emotions. You'll pick up your phone, or you'll put on the TV, or you'll text the phone is probably the worst thing, and probably the worst thing that I used to do as well. Sort of picking up the phone and just trying to like get away from our feelings. We're all like sort of guilty of it, aren't we? But as you sort of ascend on a spiritual path, you can start to learn how to like transmute, how to feel those emotions. As you ascend in consciousness, you'll start to realize that these emotions, you'll start to see them for what they are, and you can start to like, it's almost like you become an observer of your emotions rather than sitting in that emotion for so long. I used to suffer from terrible anxiety for such a long time. Didn't know how to deal with my emotions, didn't understand why I felt this way constantly. It was like a constant battle in my mind. But my spiritual journey helped me to start to be in touch with those feelings, starting to observe them, starting to understand them, and starting to move forward. Obviously, if you're triggered by things in daily life, the triggers in the past for me were very much like, I was very upset with people for triggering me. I was very upset with people if they would say anything that triggered me, or if they would say anything that hurt me. But learning the lessons is to start to realize that the triggers are the lesson, and that nobody else can hurt you, because those triggers are there to be transmuted, and they are still a part of you that needs healed. So once you are triggered by something, you can start to work on that trigger, and then you can start to feel better once you work on it. It's like almost starting to do the shadow work and starting to understand, why do I feel like this? Why does this keep happening in my life? And starting to work through it on a spiritual level. It changes your life completely. It takes a lot of work, and it's an ongoing process. I think it's probably a process that you'll do for the rest of your life. But once you start to reach that higher level of consciousness, you'll start to see that the emotions, you can start to observe them. You think, why am I feeling this way? What is it? And then you start to like move on from that feeling. And that is an amazing feeling, knowing that you can just do that. And then the inner monologue, the inner monologue that was very much on a loop for me, can start to like quieten down, and you can start to create your own thoughts. That's when you start creating. when you start creating your own life and you start creating positive things in your life. Obviously, if you're in like a negative thought spiral, negative things do start to happen because you're almost like starting to you're like pushing it to happen. And this is why I do recommend Reiki and other spiritual teachings, because as you when you get trauma and when you have something constantly happen to you over and over again, like a pattern, it's held in your muscle tissues. So yoga's also really good for this as well, because it helps to like ease out all of the trauma from your muscle tissues, and the trauma that's collected in your muscle tissues is probably and most likely responsible for a negative thought pattern that keeps cropping in your mind. And then if that negative thought pattern keeps happening over and over again, it's going to start misaligning parts of your body, and that can start to cause like illness that comes out of nowhere. Obviously Reiki is really good. It's starting to like transmute that, so it's just being able to do that, and other spiritual practices. Also, I thought I was really on a good spiritual path. I thought I was awakening enough, but every time I feel like I get to one point, I just keep ascending to another level. It's very much like starting to like stop judging myself, stop judging others. Everyone does it. We're all guilty of it. I've done it in the past so much. And it's like, don't judge people by their appearances. Don't judge people for the choices that they make in life, and you can start to live very much on your own path, and starting to like realize, starting to like live from the heart. I know we're told like not to live from the heart. We're said that the heart is that the mind is better, but I think living from the heart and starting to like listen to your intuition and starting to live with love, and then you'll get more love in your life. So it's like understanding that you are loved. You are very much like on it. You're very much loved, and you're very much like you give out love. And that's what you get back. So if you are love, if you are living from your heart, and if you are giving out love, then that is what you will get back. So if you are constantly not giving out love, if you are negatively judging people, and you are just being a negative Nelly, basically, that is probably what you would get back. So it's very much like it goes off our thought patterns. So while we're spiritually awakening, it's starting to strip back the labels as well, stripping back like I am this, I am that, and it's just very much living from like a heart-based consciousness. So I hope that helps on your journey. If you need any more tips on spiritual awakening, please do let me know. I work in the Hexham Community Centre 1 day a week, and yes, that's it. Thanks. Bye.